The Dallas Cowboys are sending the NFL a scary message. So we're going to be going through that and other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. Micah Parsons was not surprised by the Dallas Cowboys' 40-0 throttling of the New York Giants on Sunday. "No doubt in my mind," Parsons said. "I saw it before anybody. I said, I can't wait to get to New York. I already knew we was coming. Just because when preparation meets execution, I don't think there's no one that can beat us." As the Cowboys begin 2023, they are looking to get to a Super Bowl for the first time since 1995. "Yeah, it's just one win. It's the beginning of the season, but definitely feel like we put the league on notice. That we're for real, that we're coming," defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence said. "But we got a lot of work to do." Special teams and the defense started the Cowboys' success with Noah Igbinoghene returning a blocked field goal attempt from Juanya Thomas on New York's first possession for a touchdown, and Darren Bland returning a Jones interception for a score after a big hit on Saquon Barkley. "I think from there we took the life out of them," said Parsons, who was one of 5 Cowboys defenders with at least 1 sack. The Giants gained 38 yards on their first drive, but would gain more than that on just one of their remaining 11 drives. They had 3 drives that resulted in negative yardage. "The defense was relentless," said coach Mike McCarthy, who won his first season opener as Cowboys coach in 4 tries. With the victory, Dak Prescott won his 11th straight start against the Giants and has not lost to the Giants since 2016, his rookie year. Hall of Famer Roger Staubach had an 11-game win streak against New York in the 1970s. Since the 1970 merger, only Tom Brady has a longer win streak against a divisional opponent, beating the Buffalo Bills 13 straight times from December 27, 2003 to December 26, 2010. Patrick Mahomes currently has an 11-game win streak for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos. But Prescott, who completed 13 of 24 passes for 143 yards in the rain-soaked game, wasn't considering the win any kind of statement. "That's y'all's job to write whatever statement it needs to be," Prescott said. "For us, it's about not getting ahead of ourselves, continuing to stay disciplined, show that discipline, not only what we did through these 4 quarters, but taking that and making sure we use that in our preparation, and then moving forward next week going home against another New York team, a good team. It's the NFL. You've got to show up week in and week out and be prepared. You don't see a lot of wins like this, so we're not going to get ahead of ourselves on this." Lawrence traced the pass rush's success back to the arrival of defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who changed our front tremendously in 2021. That season, the defense tied for the league lead in turnover differential, plus 14. In 2022, the Cowboys were second, plus 10, trailing only the San Francisco 49ers, the team that knocked them out of last year's postseason. In that NFC divisional round game, Prescott threw 2 interceptions, and Dallas lost the takeaway battle too, one in the 19-12 defeat. The quarterback opened 2023 with a clean sheet. "A lot of good can come from going up against Parsons, Lawrence, and company in practice," Prescott said. "Whether it was speeding me up, forcing me to check down quicker, making my feet move, making my decisions faster," Prescott said. "Sometimes the rep may have technically been a sack, but the nature of practice and letting the play develop regardless of the pass rush also helped. I can tell you that after a lot of the plays and things that happen in practice," Prescott said, "I was thankful those guys are on our team." The Dallas Cowboys face high expectations nearly every year, but maybe especially so in 2023, in part because team owner Jerry Jones has raised the bar in that department. All of that, of course, brings on the Super Bowl or bust talk, which we've long considered silly because, among other things, in a salary cap era, there is no bust. But the Cowboys have been a strong team over the past 2 years, winning 12 games each season. However, multiple playoff shortcomings over the years have worn down patience and created a sense of urgency in Dallas. Every year, Cowboys fans hope and expect that the team will shed their demons in January. No one wants that to happen more than owner Jerry Jones, and he feels confident that it could happen this year. "Some years going in, I've known that we were in better shape than others," Jones told ESPN. "There are parts of this team that we're in as good shape as we've ever been in since I've been a Dallas Cowboy." Despite the sheer pressure the Cowboys are facing, Jones doesn't necessarily believe that this season is Super Bowl or bust. While a championship is obviously the goal, Jones isn't going to blow the team sky high if it falls short. How we are as a team as we evolve through this season, all of that will weigh, Jones said. We could very easily have a team that doesn't hold the trophy up, but be dramatically better than one that if you cleaned house. So we'll let that set of facts, let that play during this 23-year be the influencing things when we get to 24. You ask me, is winning the Super Bowl imperative without blowing this team up? And I say no, it is not. Logically, the Cowboys obviously wouldn't hit the reset button to that extent if they fell short. They have plenty of young stars across the roster and appear set to compete for years to come. The only bust could include the firing of coach Mike McCarthy. But there aren't really ways to bust the roster. However, some fans may not share Jones's patience. Since winning their most recent Super Bowl in 1995, the Cowboys infamously haven't made it back to the NFC Championship game. Each year that passes, the more time passes without another ring, the more restless fans become. If Jones is correct about this year's team being in the best shape he can remember, then Cowboys fans could be very happy come February. The price of NFL quarterbacks is rising. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow reportedly agreed to a 5-year, $275 million extension on Thursday night to make him the highest-paid player in NFL history. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert agreed to a 5-year, $262.5 million contract extension in July. Could Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott be the next player at his position to sign a lucrative extension? Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones isn't in a rush to make it happen. I think the best thing for us, Jones said in a radio interview on 105.3 The Fan, KRLD-FM on Friday. If you wait one more year, and then the key for us is just going to be spreading out how we pay Dak. Most of these guys have some long-term type deals, 5+ years. I think if we can do that, it'll not only be advantageous for the team as a whole, but advantageous for Dak, so we can continue to put the type of players, give him the offensive linemen he needs to protect him, give him the weapons he needs to move the football, and certainly have a defense that can get the ball back for him. All those things are important. No one understands that better than Dak, in terms of knowing that we've got to get a guy like Micah Parsons signed. Obviously, our eyes are not only glued to a Justin Herbert deal and a Burrow deal, but a Nick Bosa deal, as we've got one of the great defensive players in the league as well. Parsons becomes eligible for an extension after the 2023 season. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is also in line for a contract extension, though he also appears to be in no rush to get one done. Dallas recently agreed to a 5-year, $86.8 million extension with right tackle Terrence Steele. The Cowboys also signed cornerback Trayvon Diggs and safety Malik Hooker to extensions worth up to $100 million and $24 million, respectively. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones, in a separate interview on The Fan earlier Friday, spoke about the difficulty of signing Prescott to a deal now. "You'd have to cut 4 players right now to do that," he said. "And no, I'm going to use those players to win now." Prescott is entering the 3rd year of his 4-year, $160 million contract he signed in 2021. At the time, that deal gave him the 2nd highest average salary, $40 million, in the NFL behind Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes, $45 million. If Prescott signs his extension, he will join several notable quarterbacks who have received multiple contract extensions. Tony Romo received 2 contract extensions, 2008 and 2013, from the Cowboys. Prescott is due a $5 million roster bonus on March 21st, and he's got a 2024 base salary of $29 million. The Cowboys have no plans of releasing Prescott due to the huge financial ramifications, $61.9 million in dead money. One of the ways the Cowboys can extend Prescott is lowering his 2024 cap number, $59.4 million. The team can turn his 2024 base salary into a signing bonus and then boost his average salary, currently at $40 million, into the $50 million range over a 2- or 3-year period. Tennessee Titans wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins said the Dallas Cowboys weren't interested in signing him as a free agent. He made those comments in a recent interview with GQ. Hopkins discussed which teams passed on him and why before he signed his 2-year, $26 million contract with the Titans this offseason. Hopkins' words echo the sentiment reported by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Clarence Hill, who said the Cowboys were unlikely to sign Hopkins because the team was happy with the players they had at the receiver position. The Cowboys weren't the only team uninterested in Hopkins' services. The San Francisco 49ers, New York Giants, and the Detroit Lions all passed on the former All-Pro wideout. Hopkins said he reached out to these teams but never received a response. Hopkins cited age as a reason some teams might have passed on him, but said when he gets on the field, his play will do the talking. Micah Parsons isn't the only two-time All-Pro on the Dallas defense after the off-season addition of cornerback Stephon Gilmore in a trade. Gilmore's partner on the other side, Trayvon Diggs, is a 2021 All-Pro who is tied for the NFL lead with 17 interceptions since entering the league 3 years ago, and just signed a $97 million extension. The return of other key pieces around Parsons, and what coach Mike McCarthy calls one of the deepest groups of safeties he has seen in a long career, has the defense believing it can be an anchor for a Super Bowl contender.